All right, this talk is going to be for people who actually use advice, okay? So if you're a guy who just likes to sit back and not do anything with their life, this talk isn't for you. What I'm about to tell you is going to ultimately change your life if you decide to adopt it in your life, okay? When I first started doing this, I did it maybe once every 9 months. Then I did it once every 6 months, once every 3 months. And now I'm at the point where I'm doing it once every week, okay? That's about the sweet spot that I found. It's just once every week. Okay, but if you can't do it weekly, try to do it once every 2 weeks, once every month. All right, try to short it down as much as possible. So what is it that I'm talking about? This comes from the principle of the masculine. If you don't know what the masculine is, the masculine represents a straight line, point A to point B. Okay, I like to say in shape form, it's like a square. Point A to point B, point A to point B, point A to point B, point A to point B. Make sense? The feminine, however, is a circle. So it has no real starting point and it has no real end point. It just keeps going and going and going and going. This is why if you've ever listened to women have conversations, they talk about nothing and they talk in circles and there's no real point to what they're saying. However, if you're talking to masculine men, we have a point to what we're saying. We're having, this is how the story started, this is how the story ended, this is why I told it. Does that make sense? Okay. So now that you understand that, what is it that I'm talking about? It's simply structuring your life. Now, when I say structuring your life, I mean really structuring your life. This starts off by you structuring yourself. When you get into a relationship, you should be structuring your relationship. When you start to have a family, you should structure your family. When you start to move up in life and you start becoming a community figure, if that's what you want to be, then you do it for your community, so forth and so on. All right. But again, when I say that you're the leader of your life or the leader of your family, the only thing that you're doing that everybody is not doing is you are simply adding structure to the thing that you ultimately care about, which in this case is your life. So if you've ever been a client of mine, you know exactly where this is going. But if you haven't been a client, I'm going to give you guys my onboarding process for free. And the reason why I'm going to give it to you guys for free is because I know that only maybe 10% of you or 20% of you is actually going to do it. And so with that being said, maybe one day the guys who realize that this is going to change their life, they're going to be like, you know what, let me become a client of his, yada, yada. And if you want to become a client of mine, just email me, which you can find that on my channel. If you're not tech savvy enough to find an email address, I don't think we're going to be a great fit to work together. But anyways, so here's where you're going to start. The first things first, you're going to need a journal. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. This is exactly why I keep saying that crap over and over and over and over again. It's because this is your canvas for your life. So if you don't have a canvas for your life, that means you're allowing anything to take your life and dictate it exactly where it wants it to go. This is how a lot of us end up in the rat race or the hamster wheel, right? Because you trusted a Fortune 500 company or some random person over your own leadership or the leadership of your creator if you are religious. Okay, so the very first things you want to get out that journal, and the first thing you want to write down is 3 main goals that you want to accomplish this year. Now, since we're on the 9th, well, damn near the 10th month of the year, you want to write down the 3 main goals that you want to accomplish before the end of the year. All right, so the first things you want to write down 3 main goals. All right, so once you write down, so go ahead and pause the video and then write down those 3 main goals. Right. Once you write down, who's texting me? Anyways, once you write down one of these goals or all 3 of these goals, the first thing that you want to do is write your secondary goals. What are secondary goals? So the first 3 goals that I told you to write down, those are called high priority goals, which means that every single day that you wake up, you should be doing some sort of action that's going to move you closer to getting to those first 3 goals. Okay. This is called having focus. A lot of guys don't have focus. That's why when I talk to guys, I'm like, what do you want? They have no idea. But if you ask either me or any of my clients, all they're going to do is break open that journal. They're going to list you everything that they want. Okay, because they have structure in their life. This is why a lot of guys are flip-flopping and up and downing and going back and forth and allowing people to railroad them, is because you guys don't understand what it is that you actually want. So the first 3 things, again, your primary goals is what I call them. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then the secondary thing, these are called secondary goals, or what I like to call lifestyle goals. The reason why I call these lifestyle goals is because Can you accomplish those first three goals? Yes. But how are you going to look when you accomplish these goals? I'll tell you a personal one of mine. You guys know or don't know that one of my primary goals is to live abroad full time. Well, I've done the part-time thing, and of course I really enjoyed myself, but that's the primary goal. My secondary goal is, what do I want to look like when I go to these places? Now, some of those secondary goals for me is, one, I want to be in shape, because why would I want to be fat in my dream life, right? Two, I want to be making a full-time income online, because that way I don't have to go to this place and then come back, go to this place and then come back, right? And then another one, of course, you get the point. It's like, what's my lifestyle like? What's my health like? Okay, so that's going to go into the secondary goals. So again, first three primary goals, right? Secondary goals, you want to break those up into 4 categories. What are those 4 categories? Health, go ahead and write that down. Health, right? Then you want to give a giant space to yourself. Wealth, then you want to give a giant space to yourself. Relationships, giant space, and then purpose. All right. So I'm going to give you guys the quick version of this. Again, like I said, if you guys were ever clients of mine, we're on the phone for at least an hour. And I think the longest I've been on the phone with a guy was like 5 hours. Okay. I'm dedicated to this, So anyway, so you write down your health. So I'll ask you this question, is like, what are the health goals that you have? Just to kind of help you guys out and break it down a little bit. It's like, how much do you weigh? How much do you want to weigh? Right? What does your body fat look like? What body fat percentage would you like to be? Now, again, get out of this mentality of, I don't know, right? Figure it out. That's the whole reason why we're here, is we're here to figure it out. All you have to do is get on Google and type in body fat images, right? Hit image, and there's going to be like what do they call those things? There's going to be a diagram. There's going to be a compilation of photos that tell you which body fat percentage. Match where you're at, and then write down your desired one. Again, that's another one. Your diet. What is your diet like? What do you want your diet to look like? Okay. And the way that you're going to structure this journal is you're going to write down your point A, which is where you're at right now. Let's say I'm 150 pounds. And then your point B, where you want to be, I want to be 180 pounds. Okay. So you want to structure your whole thing like this. When it comes to your diet, this is how I'm eating. This is how I want to eat. This is my weight. This is where I want to weigh. This is my build. This is what I want to build. Okay. So you want to do that for health. And again, if you're ever on the phone with me, we sit here and we figure it out. I don't care how long it's going to take. We're going to sit here and figure out the whole thing. All right, next. Then you want to write down wealth. How much, when it comes to wealth, you want to talk about your income. How much do you make? How much do you want to make? Do you have any investments? Well, what kind of investments do you want? Do you have a business? Well, what kind of business do you want, right? There's always what do you have versus what do you want? Same thing for wealth, okay? Right? So now that we wrote that down, then we're going to go to relationships. Tell me your relationship status. What are you? Are you single? Yes, I'm single. What do you want? This is very important, because a lot of guys are like, I want to get married. I'm like, no, you don't. You want a friends with benefits right now. That's what you want. So again, for the next 3 months, ask yourself, what is it that I want? All right. So again, that's what you start to write down. I'm single, and then I'm going to get into a relationship, let's just say. And when I say relationships, you want to make sure that you're having a bird's eye view of what relationships means to you. Relationships doesn't always mean your partner. It could be a relationship with your kids. It could be relationships with your family. It could be relationships with your friends, right? And then you want to have a point A and a point B. What's my relationship with my kids like? Right now, it's kind of like at 30%. Where do you want it to be? At 80%. Okay, boom, write that down. Next thing is your purpose and your overall purpose. I can't tell you what your purpose is, but what I will say is, once you've done all of the things that I've just said here in the journal, once you've done all these things, this is going to be your life's purpose. Because what else are you waking up for? Really answer that question. If everything you want is on this sheet of paper, why are you, or what else matters to you? What else? And if something else matters to you, that means you need to write that, put that in your journal. Okay. So again, so that's the first thing. The first thing is you want to add the first 3 main goals that you want to accomplish for the year, just to keep you focused. Then you want to have lifestyle goals or secondary goals, which is going to shape how you are when you're in this dream reality that you're thinking of. And then once you've wrote those things down, you want to come up with an action plan, which is just a list of actions that you're going to have to do in order to move the needle forward to make you accomplish the goals that you have, both primary and secondary goals. Okay. Does that make sense? This can be, again, the first time you do it, it's going to be like extremely hard. It just is, right? But the more that you keep doing it, the easier that it's going to get. Just doing this alone, having your 3 main goals for the year, having your secondary goals, the lifestyle goals, having an action plan of list of actions that you know you need to do either every single day, every other day, weekly, whatever the frequency is, right? That way, if you do those, that's going to help you accomplish your goals, right? Just doing that is going to ultimately change your life, because what you're going to realize within a year, and I'm already seeing this in the group that I'm in right now, what you're seeing is it's going to happen to you. It may not be all of it, may not be 100%, but it's going to be a lot of it because you're simply focusing on it more. All right. And of course, taking action. It's not like a spray and pray. We're like, this is what I want, and then you do nothing and then it happens. That's not how that works. Okay. So then that's what you wrote down. So then once you have the structure, then the game for you is simply is staying on track, being consistent and being disciplined. That's why in my men's group, we have weekly meetings every single week, because we want to check in and say, how's it going? 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 When you have that type of formula in your life, you now are becoming a person that is operating at least 50%. The average person in the world operates at roughly 20 to 30%, meaning if they have a list of goals down, they're only going to get 2 out of the 10, 3 out of the 10. Versus if you're writing it down and you're keeping focus and you have an accountability group, you're at least going to get 5. Now, that may not mean anything to people who don't know any better, but for people who actually want stuff for their life, you guys realize how freaking life-changing that is. And it's incredibly life-changing. I can honestly say this has been one of the most productive years of my life, simply because I'm in this group, and I want to start having testimonials from the guys in the group as well. So just look forward to that. So that's exactly what's going to do. If you need help with that, or you need me to sit down with you and do that, again, like I said, email me, we'll figure it out. All right. So I'm trying to make sure I got everything. Write down what 3 main goals, secondary goals, list of action plan. Make sure you're consistent. Make sure you're disciplined. What else? Okay, yeah. So again, if you're by yourself, you're just a single guy, this is what you should be doing. If you're in a relationship, like you have children and a wife, you need to sit down. Well, first of all, you need to sit down with yourself first and then write things down. And then you need to sit down with your wife and lead your relationship and say, this is where we're going. And of course, you want to have her input as well. What does she want for the family? And what do you want for your family? And then you guys come together and create this action plan. But again, there's a lot of guys out there, your wives don't respect you. And it's like, yeah, because you're not a freaking leader. And it's like, every leader I've ever known has a plan, has some sort of direction. So if you don't have that, congratulations, brother, you're not one of them. All right. So again, you want to have that for your wife, have that for your kids. Let's say you have that for yourself, you have that for your family. It doesn't stop there. It goes to your community. What's your plan for your community? See, a lot of us want to think that we're going to get to a certain spot and then all of a sudden we're going to be like, oh, we're done. We've beat life. That's not how that works, especially as a man. Our happiness for men is the fact that we get to we get to pursue our dreams and our goals. And the thing about pursuing your dreams and your goals, and you'll know this if you're a goal achiever, is that once you accomplish your goals, it's like, yes, and then it's over. And then you turn around and chase the next one. And you realize that the happiness is in the dream of going from point A to point B, thus the essence of masculine. All right. So again, you want to do this for yourself, do this for your family, do this for your community. You do this. You come into the habit and the practice of doing this. Talk to me in a year, and I guarantee you're going to say you changed my life. All right. So you guys do that, and I'm going to check back in with you guys in the next video. All right. Peace out.